Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Gorman on Target, a show that is brought to you by the Wilson Hill Pistol Club of Manchester, Manchester's greatest little secret. This show is dedicated to firearm safety, training, and education. And tonight's guest very graciously continued we're willing to continue with our show, which was getting quite exciting at the end of it. And we're going to continue on that theme. And really, this is basically under the education portion of it. This portion has to do with laws, lawmaking, what's legal, what's not legal. Very important that an individual does not get in trouble through ignorance of the law. It's really simple. If you know the law and you're not a convicted felon, you're a law-abiding citizen, it's very easy to stay within the law and stay out of trouble. However, there's a lot of rumors out there and sort of suspicions, and I think, and my brother-in-law told me, and he was a police chief, and that was 20 years ago, and oh my God, the law changed. So all kinds of things going on. So we have Mrs. Susan Olsen. How do you do? And Kim, welcome back. This is
Thank you.
Third show for you, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to be an old favorite. And this is my friend Charles O'Malley. He says, St. Patty's Day, you know, I got to be on the show, darling. That's all there is to it. So I said, yeah, welcome aboard, lad. So where were we? We were at Kim. I think you were in the middle of throwing hatchets at some of the senators, or maybe I missed this.
I'm always throwing hatchets at some of the senators.
Yeah, but we have two that are our favorites.
Yeah, we have two that are...
Let's stop mentioning names. This is not a secret society that we're talking about. And I think this is going to be very important, folks, for you guys that are out there and live in these districts. It really is incumbent upon you to let these fellows know that they're on the right track by harassing people like this that legitimately want to correct the law where there is some small problems that need to be addressed, and they are not up there for abuse or ridicule or anything else. So let's name those folks, whoever wants to go first over there.
Well, it was, I think we talked about it before, Senator Hosmer, Susan's favorite senator, and Senator Pierce. Why don't you talk about Senator Hosmer?
Senator Hosmer,
I can tell you're ready to jump out of the chair now.
Well, Senator Hosmer is from Senate District 7.
District 7, folks.
Yes.
Do you happen to know the town, Susan?
That's up in Laconia.
Laconia, part of the North Country, and there's quite a good Second Amendment community.
It certainly
in the
is,
North
you
Country.
folks
Hunters,
up there in the Laconia area. I mean, you're sending a senator down here from an area of the state that is very pro-Second Amendment. So it might be a good idea to have a discussion with this fellow.
Well, can I just interject really quick? Because
Yeah.
he barely won last time. He will not win next time.
Uh-oh.
Well, what happened is I wrote an email to all of the senators, all 24,
Okay.
over my name, just me in my little town. And I suggested to the senators that they pay attention to Senate Bill 116 because it is a women's issue.
Very good.
And that we believed that no woman should be forced to cower in her own home, hide behind curtains and locked doors, and be unable to take her legally owned firearm outside of her house, armed, whether she's taking the kids to the pediatrician or going to the grocery store or going to work, for goodness sake, and be forced to wait 14 days to get a license. And it was a polite email, and I thought respectful and to the point, and I asked them to support Senate Bill 116. Mm-hmm. Well, I get emails, and I track responses from senators. And I got
Wow, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I got a number of replies, but this one was a first for me. I get an email that says Susan, not Mrs. Olsen, not Dear Susan, okay, but Susan. There Thanks for contacting me, but your ideas are, at best, half-baked. Yours, Andrew.
And who was this?
Senator Andrew Hosmer.
Senator Andrew Hosmer from the Laconia area, District 7, did you say?
Yes, District 7. And, you know, he didn't know me, nor should he have. He could have said, well, because I put my town, he said, well, you know, you're not a constituent of mine, and thank you very much, but, you know, I respond to emails from constituents. He didn't say that. He didn't give me the courtesy of answering with an honorific of Mrs. Olsen, or even Ms., to which I violently object. But it was Susan, and it wasn't, I've read your points, and I believe this and such, and for this reason I'm not going to support Senate Bill 116. No, it was, your points are at best half-baked. Well, I took some objection to that.
As did many people.
As did many people.
Yeah, that's a pretty outrageous statement from a legislator, be it a senator, a representative, or your police chief. You're being paid for, granted, not much, but from the taxpayers' till, and you represent the taxpayers and the community. Now, I might disagree with you on an issue. I might say that's a very interesting point of view. I certainly listened to what you had to say, and unfortunately, I just really can't agree with it, you know?
And I get a lot of those, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We're allowed to have differences of opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
But I didn't say that I thought he was a dumbbell, but I get that sort of disrespectful response from a senator, and I'm thinking, gosh. Well, we go to the Senate hearing. Now, in between the time of this email and the vote in the Senate, I, and with the help of my good friend here, circulate his response. And in fact, I believe even a Facebook page was put up on why does Andrew Hosmer hate women? I don't think it was actually that, but it was why do Democrats oppose Second Amendment rights? And so the morning of the Senate vote, I went to his office.
Senator Hosmer.
Senator Hosmer's office. And
I hope he's watching.
I'm sure he's not.
Okay.
But I think he does have car dealerships in this part of the state. AutoServe is Mr. Hosmer's family's business. So he may watch this, I don't know, but he may be in Manchester from time to time. So I went to the senator's office and asked his clerk, his assistant, if I could leave something for the senator. And what I left was a pint of Ben & Jerry's half-baked ice cream. And he said, certainly, and I saw his little refrigerator there, and I said, well, why don't I just put it in the fridge? He says, fine, go ahead. Well, would you believe that the refrigerator opens from the left? I had such a smile on my face leaving that office. But after the vote in the Senate, I was standing out wrapping up a taping, and Senator Hosmer walks out, and I stepped over to him and I stuck out my hand and I said, Senator, my name is Susan Olsen.
Mrs. Susan.
No, I didn't say Mrs. And actually I didn't stick out my hand, but I said, Senator, my name is Susan Olsen. And he went to shake my hand and I said, I will not shake your hand. You owe me an apology. And he looked at me like I was the cleaning woman and walked on by. So not even, hi, how are you? What can I do for you?
Which is really what a representative, be his senator or whatever, really is there for.
Well,
You
apparently,
don't have to agree, but you really need to listen and try to appreciate
You
the other
or
points
even
of
respect your elders. For
You're
God's
supposed to
sake.
represent all of your constituents, not just the ones that agree with you. Plain and simple. And you're supposed to vote how the majority of your constituents want you to vote, not just what you feel like voting on. This is the problem we have in this state, is a lot of them don't vote. We know for a fact the majority of constituents slams them with emails and phone calls about this bill. One of the senators told us he got emails from women saying, "Why do you hate women? Why are you voting against this?" So we know for a fact that the majority of people in the state of New Hampshire, including Manchester and every single city and town in this state, want SB 116 to pass, and every single Democrat voted against it. They voted against their constituents. Every single one of them that voted against it.
They voted against firearms owners.
I don't understand that. If citizens went through the effort, and this is one of my gripes, I'll get to it later in the show, but if citizens are aware and they go through the effort of contacting their senator via email, telephone, you name it, carrier pigeon, and they go through to put that effort forward, at the very, very least, they should demand courtesy.
Well, in the interest of full disclosure,
yes,
about, 10 days later, I get a very official-looking letter on Senate letterhead from Andrew Hosmer, saying that he's sorry I misunderstood what he had to say, and golly gee whiz, please take this as an apology, and we're good, right? Well, Senator, if the phone rings, it's not me. Okay, just so you know. No, I don't accept your apology.
And he only did that after he found out she was the legislative director of the Women's Defense League. She did not send her email as our legislative director. She sent that email just as a constituent.
Kim, I understand you have another name in the hat. Folks, I'm telling you right now, I deal with these women all the time, so you can see what I'm up against. But
so did Scott Brandon.
My boy, oh boy, are they fun! I love them dearly. Anyhow, over and above that, this show, we're not going to pull any punches here. If people are going to go up there and make laws and have this kind of an attitude that they walk on water and they don't respect citizens, even though there may be a difference of opinion, which is fine, happens all the time, something's going to be done about it. But we have another name, don't we, Kim?
That would be Senator David Pierce.
Senator David Pierce. And do you happen to know his district?
Hanover. I don't know the district number, but he's
close
Hanover.
Enough.
Yes.
Hanover. Okay.
I forget the district number too. I thought it was 8, but
could be
don't
8.
quote me on
could
that.
Be 8,
but he's the senator who decided I don't know. He apparently grew a uterus overnight and decided he knows suddenly what women's rights are.
Yes. We can't confirm any of this.
I want her to finish with this. She's got her foot and half in her mouth now and turning red. So let's keep it rolling.
He decided overnight that he knows what women's rights are. That we don't make that choice as women, but he does. He is the one who decides. He's the decider of what women's rights are.
Now, can you define that a little more clearly?
He's the one who said it was insulting to intelligent debate to use SB 116 as a women's rights issue. He said that.
I see.
Yeah. So he's on my list.
He's on your list.
He's on my list. That's not a good list to be on.
No, it's not.
So I was a little confused there. So when you're saying he understands women's rights when he's talking to a woman, and obviously he's a man, so instead of listening to what you have to say,
right.
Yes, you're getting scolded
Yep.
for not having a brain.
Yeah. Basically, he's putting us down as little women folk. Who we don't know what women's rights are. He knows better than us as a man. So that's why I said he must have grown a uterus overnight, because he decides what women's rights are all of a sudden. I mean, as women, I would think we would know, right? I mean,
pretty much. And interestingly, there were 2 female senators who participated in this discussion on the Senate floor during the vote. And one of them, Senator Betty Lasky, in a back and forth with Senator Woodburn, was saying, it could get cold up in my part of the state, and if some law-abiding citizen had an open carry pistol on their hip and
which
got
is
out,
perfectly legal,
which is perfectly legal, and got out of his car and pulled his parka on. Well, Senator Lasky says, well, I'm sure that the local police chief would use his discretion in enforcing the law.
Amen.
So, but either we have laws or we don't.
We don't, yeah.
Either we enforce them or we don't. So here's Senator Lasky saying, well, your chief isn't going to bother with enforcing the law. Well, which laws does he enforce and which laws does he not? And who makes that decision? So we took great exception to that as well.
Well, not
and
only
it was kind
that,
of about wink, wink thing.
Yeah, well, not only that, but this is a woman who told a constituent a couple years ago in writing, I will defend Second Amendment rights.
On Northeast Shooters, we have a screenshot of
We
it.
have it, and she lied. So if your senator's Betty Lasky, out.
Yeah. So we've got our list, and we're checking it twice.
Oh, believe me, the 2016 elections are going to be fun.
They're going to be fun.
Because this is all documented, mind you. We have video, we have audio, we have written documentation. All of this is documented.
And
More than anything else, what you really have is spirit and go for the juggler.
Well, yeah, I was going to say big mouths too, but you know,
there is that.
That's a
No,
given.
I don't think that's that. Spirit, the fighting spirit.
It's passion.
That's passion.
I think I told you, and I said this in one of my testimonies, I came here from Massachusetts. I know what it's like to wake up and not be able to defend myself because I didn't pay attention. I didn't realize that the legislators like Pierce and Hosmer and Lasky and D'Alessandro, who is in Manchester, were taking my rights away a little bit, one at a time. So that's why I'm passionate about this, because I don't want other people, other women especially, to wake up one day and realize, oh, I didn't pay attention and now I can't protect myself.
Exactly.
What am I going to do?
Right.
I'm not going to wait for a cop to come for 911. I'm not going to wait for a cop with a gun, minutes when seconds matter. It's not going to do anything for me.
That's right.
And I don't think any women should be forced to be in that position. I'm not saying every woman should have a firearm and every woman should know how to protect themselves. What I'm saying is if you want that choice,
Yes.
you should be able to. Pro-choice. That's right. It's a pro-choice.
Okay.
No. This is SB 116 is pro-choice bill as well.
Absolutely it is.
You can choose to get a pistol license
It's
or
or
not.
not.
That's
It's
pro-choice.
entirely up to you.
They said it's also not. They tried to tell us it's also not pro-choice, but when you could do one or the other, that's a choice.
That's a choice. Susan, you had mentioned early in the show, I don't know if you had arrived yet, Kim, that you were also a NRA firearm pistol instructor.
yes, I am, as is Miss Kim.
Yes, and as am I, and I get women in quite frequently. I would say that let's say there's a class of 10 people. Almost always in the last year or so, there have been a majority of women in that class. Not always, but very, very, very often. And I usually ask the women that are in the class specifically, why are you taking this class? What's the interest? Because most of these are not young college women. They're in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And I quite frequently get the answer that I'm alone now. I have a condo or an apartment or a house or whatever, and it's just me. And I feel nervous at times being alone. And I want to be able to purchase a firearm and have it in the home, or for security and in case I ever need it. Which brings me to an interesting point. I think I mentioned this last week, Kim, with you. If a fellow doesn't have a gun and he suddenly decides one, what does he do? He goes down to the gun store and talks with the clerk and and he buys a gun. If a woman is in the same point, doesn't have a gun, she wants to get a gun for whatever reason, first thing she does is say, where's the nearest class? They really. I'm not kidding. But there are more and more single women who, for whatever reason, are alone. And you're absolutely right. There should be absolutely nothing to even remotely hinder their ability to purchase, own, and have that firearm under their control.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
I agree with you.
And like I said to you last week, I believe it was the last week, before 1923, women had the right to carry however they wanted. It's 2015. Let's restore women's rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard time. You know, it's funny. Last week they passed a bill in the House. Democrats were all proud of it. They're, strutting their peacock feathers. They passed a bill updating 100-year-old banking laws.
It's time to modernize.
But yet they don't want to update 90-year-old women's rights issues and pistol laws. So, I guess now Democrats are for bankers only and not for women.
Yeah, but we knew that.
Well, we knew that, but, they like to play semantics where, the bankers are bad and women are good, but yet when they have the chance to actually restore women's rights and actually stick up for a right that is for women, they don't do it.
Yeah.
So, Susan, going back to the hearing,
Yes.
so that we can get focused in on the specific a little bit. You mentioned that there were roughly 140 or 50 people that testified over several hours on this bill, or
Yes,
did
sir.
I misquote you?
No, there were.
And how many were for the bill, and how many were against the bill? 'Cause you mentioned
There were 4 that were against,
4 against.
and 3 of them were paid hacks. One was just a little old lady who hates guns. But no, 3 of them were paid as part of their job, came in to oppose firearms. And they're the ones that got the press. They're the ones that were written up in the newspapers. And was it that hearing where the Moms Demand Action Group were scared because they said they were fearful of facing a firing squad? And the only people armed in the entire house was a state policeman and
They had
the
no idea who
chief
was
of
armed.
police in Tuftonboro.
The only people open carrying were the police.
Yeah.
So they didn't have
Open carry.
Yes,
Yeah.
they had no idea who was concealed carrying, but they were
I was
afraid.
scared.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I had, and I'm sure you know him, Representative John Byrd on here a few shows ago, and he was just to bring you up to speed a little bit, he was the fellow that gave the speech at the beginning of the session on Rules Day.
Absolutely.
And he had made a motion to change Rule 61, which would allow legislators to carry on the floor of the House. Mm-hmm. That went back and forth, but his final line was really great. He says, the only thing that'll stop a bad guy is a good guy with a gun.
Yep.
So he quoted that here on this show, and it was really good.
We're big fans of Representative Byrd.
Yep.
He's a good buddy of mine.
He's a
Yep.
good man.
He was I'm going to brag a little bit here. He was one of my Lions 4 years ago. I have been over the last 5 years training freshman legislators. These poor guys, they come in, they don't know where the bathroom is. And, you can get slaughtered out there and not even know what happened. So I've been doing that. John was one of my the students back then, and we talk a lot and call back and forth quite a bit. And, yeah, he's one of my favorite guys.
You did a good job, Don. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. We're a big fan of his.
Yeah,
And
we are.
He's one of our consistently strong voices and strong supporters and clear-eyed
Oh, yeah.
about the issue.
Oh.
And he's a go-to guy. And he's a lovely man, too, which makes it even nicer.
He's a very gentle person. Mm-hmm. He always calls me up every hot dog day, and he says, I'm the chef, so they're cooking hot dogs. Last year I cooked 600 hot dogs.
I think we'll be there helping
Yes.
him this year.
We're going to go
good.
this year.
Yeah,
Good.
we're
I
gonna
need a
work
break.
with him on that.
I don't want to cook. You can cook.
I want to, we've only got a few minutes left, and I do want to bring forward today because this is a perfect background for me to do it. One of my pet peeves about gun owners, and through a variety over the years, I have found, unfortunately, that there are a great many firearms owners that do not and are not registered to vote. And I remember a bumper sticker saying something about you can have my firearm when you pry it out of my dead hand and all that macho stuff. And guys, if you're not registered to vote, get registered to vote. That's where the battle is. It's in the State House. It's in the halls of the legislature. That's where the battle is. And as you can see, we've got some real tigers on our side. They just need your support. They're willing to jump into the arena. They're willing to go the distance. Combat's not a problem for them in the legislative halls. They need your support. Go down and register to vote. And if one of these senators or your representative or whoever is anti-gun, not what he says, what he does, how he votes, it's time to say sayonara. It's been nice having you up there, and now it's time to go home. So, I don't.
Well, and to that end, Don, thank you for that. If you are a registered voter,
Yes.
We are hand carrying postcards
I got
to legislators.
I got to interrupt at this particular time, Susan. I missed the cue on winding down here. Whoops. But for wrap up, it's been a pleasure having you ladies, a real pleasure. And this is Gorman on Target, a program sponsored by the Wilson Hill Pistol Club that is dedicated to firearms training, safety, and education. Thank you, ladies, very much, and good night, folks. Sean, would you say good night to the folks? He says, happy St. Patty's Day, he says. Thank you.